I really did enjoy the film. I was nervous at first because me and horror movies just don't have the best track record, but I watched it all by myself and I loved it. So I just have to give you kudos for that. It's such a fun film.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to hear about why you don't have a good track record with horror, but I mean,
I just jump scare easily, I'll say that. But there's some horror stories I could say about it. But I would love if you could just walk us through the premise of this film and why you were so drawn to an idea of a horror time travel movie.
yeah, I think, I was looking for something. My background has all been in comedy up to this point. And so, coming off of my last movie, which was a rom-com, I was just excited to kind of explore like the kind of, what else is on the outskirts of the genre maybe. And I had met Jason Blum and the Blumhouse team just generally. And so when they sent me this script, it kind of just felt like everything had aligned, because the idea of getting to play with time travel, going back to the 80s, having a slasher movie with like a real threat. There's like a violent killer on the loose, but looking at it through a comedic lens. I mean, it was a real challenge. There's a lot of balls in the air, but it was really exciting.
Absolutely. And I really do think it does a great job of balancing that, like there's some gnarly kills, but there's also a lot of laughs and a lot of nods to the 80s, which I enjoy. But I do want to ask, I mean, as a newcomer to the genre, did you feel any pressure for that like final act of the reveal? Because I feel like with slashers like this, there's so much that goes into that. So how did you approach that without, of course, giving any spoilers away?
Yeah, no, I think I knew I wanted that last sort of big set piece action sequence to be in that quantum drop, that gravitron, because it was such like an 80s ride. First of all, like it just feels lawless in a way that like there's no harness or belt or anything. Like you're just there and you're thrown against the wall by gravity. And then I was like, and then a serial killer is there trying to kill you. And that just felt, even though, because usually in movies, like you want the set piece in Act 3 to be big, and this felt big but contained at the same time, like you're almost in a coffin. So once I had that, like once I knew I wanted to build to this thing, and then this element also becomes a time travel device. So there's a lot that was coming into the gravitron. I was excited to kind of just not like, now how do we break it down? Like how do we start to figure out, what are the elements here that we need to make this satisfying?
Absolutely. And I did want to say also that there's this thing in slasher movies you kind of see where they bring up social issues. You see that kind of in Scream, but in this one it goes like a different way because we're comparing current times with the 80s. So I wanted to ask, how did you decide what you wanted to include and why are those like nods to those important issues such a big thing about these movies?
I mean, I think it's important because it wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? It was just 35 years ago, but yet things that we said back then or people did or behaved like we're just sort of like taken as like, well, I guess that's okay. And I think this gave us a really fun chance to take our 2023 lens back in time. So even in Scream, it's like that all happens in one timeline. But here we have Gen Z going back to John Hughes and commenting on it. Like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, what are you guys seeing this? Like, why is this okay? Like, this is absolutely not okay. And it's not, but at the time you were like, I guess the school mascot is racist. You know what I mean? Like when just everybody lives like this. It's so wild.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the film again. That's all the time I have, but I loved it. And I have to say, Julie Bowen, period. She's so amazing.
She's incredible. She's an
Yeah.
icon.